Even if the world around you crumbles, and the echo of shattered dreams rings in your ears, remember this unyielding truth. You are broken, not defeated. That ache you carry, the hollow space where something precious once resided, it's not a void meant to consume you, but an empty canvas awaiting the brush strokes of a new beginning. We've all stood at that precipice, haven't we? That moment when the rug is pulled out from under us, and the carefully constructed edifice of our lives collapses into dust. It might have been a betrayal, a loss, a catastrophic failure, or perhaps a slow, insidious erosion of hope over years, a relentless chipping away at your spirit until you felt hollowed out, utterly emptied. Perhaps it was the sudden, brutal shock of a diagnosis that changed everything in an instant, or the creeping realization that a foundational relationship was built on sand, crumbling silently beneath your feet until the inevitable collapse. The forms of trauma are as varied as the human experience itself, from the searing pain of a sudden, violent event to the prolonged, insidious weariness of chronic adversity. Yet their impact often shares a chilling commonality, a profound sense of disorientation, a loss of footing, a feeling that the very ground beneath you has dissolved into thin air. It's a moment where your deepest assumptions about safety, about fairness, about the predictability of life, are utterly shattered, leaving you adrift in a sea of uncertainty and fear. Regardless of its specific manifestation, trauma leaves an indelible mark, a scar on the soul that whispers doubts and fears into the quiet hours, amplifying every insecurity, every past regret, every buried vulnerability. It can distort your perception of reality, making the vibrant world seem muted, the promising future appear bleak, and your own capabilities feel diminished, perhaps even non-existent. These whispers can be relentless, insidious, planting seeds of self-doubt so deeply that you begin to question your inherent worth, your capacity for joy, or your fundamental right to a peaceful, fulfilling existence. They tell you, in 1,000 subtle and overt ways, that you are permanently damaged, that your story is definitively over, that the best of you has been irrevocably lost and can never be reclaimed. They attempt to convince you that the light within has been extinguished, leaving only an empty vessel. But here's what those whispers don't tell you, what they actively try to obscure, what they desperately want you to forget. Scars are not symbols of weakness, not indelible marks of failure or defect. They are maps, intricate designs etched by survival, testaments to battles fought and endured with a resilience you perhaps didn't even know you possess until you were forced to tap into it. Think of the mighty oak, ancient and wise, its gnarled and weathered trunk bearing the deep, undeniable scars of countless storms, of fierce winds, of lightning strikes, of harsh, unforgiving winters. Yet it stands, not merely surviving, but thriving, deeper rooted, more resilient, more profoundly connected to the earth than ever before. Its broken branches are not a sign of defeat, but an invitation for new growth, for a redirection of its life force towards the sun, towards new pathways of flourishing, reaching for the sky with renewed vigor. It adapts, it regenerates, it strengthens, incorporating every challenge into its very being. And so it is with us. The very act of surviving, of waking up each day despite the crushing weight on your chest, despite the fog in your mind, despite the exhaustion that permeates your bones, is an act of profound, almost defiant courage. It is the first, often unseen, victory in a war only you can truly comprehend. It is the quiet, internal declaration that you are still here, still breathing, still capable of choosing a different path, still possessing the spark of life within you. This isn't about denying the searing pain, about trivializing the monumental magnitude of what you've endured, or about pretending that healing is a simple, linear process that can be rushed or neatly packaged. On the contrary, it's about acknowledging it, honoring it, allowing yourself to feel the full, raw depth of the loss and the intense, often overwhelming intensity of the hurt. It's about giving yourself permission to grieve, to rage, to weep, to simply be in the discomfort, without judgment. But then, it's about making a conscious, courageous decision to refuse to let that pain, that loss, that hurt, define the entirety of your existence, or dictate the entirety of your future. It's about understanding that the crack in the foundation doesn't automatically mean the entire house must fall. It means it must be rebuilt, perhaps from the ground up, with a deeper understanding of its structure, with stronger, more adaptive materials, and perhaps with a more intentional, more beautiful, more resilient design that can withstand future storms. This is not some glib platitude, some ephemeral flicker of feel-good sentiment designed to temporarily lift your spirits before they inevitably plummet again when faced with the harsh realities of healing.
Nope.
This is the hard-won wisdom of those who have walked through the deepest fires of adversity, who have descended into the profound depths of despair, who have faced the abyss of their own brokenness, and who have emerged not unscathed, not untouched by the flames, but profoundly transformed, tempered, imbued with an extraordinary inner strength, and radiating a profound quiet power. This is the truth whispered by every survivor who dared to believe in a dawn after the longest, darkest night, who found a glimmer of hope in the most unlikely places, and who understood that the spirit, once wounded, can not only heal but can also reach new heights of resilience and compassion. The initial shock, the bewildering disorientation, the emotional paralysis that grips you when everything shifts. These are natural, even necessary. Responses from a system are overwhelmed by an unbearable load.
When a traumatic event occurs,
Your brain and body are simply trying to protect you, to process an overwhelming experience, to shut down in the face of intolerable pain. They enter a state of hyperarousal or hypoarousal, a protective freeze that makes movement and clear thought incredibly difficult. Imagine a grand ship, navigating the tumultuous, unpredictable ocean, laden with precious cargo and vital missions. When a rogue wave of immense size and destructive force strikes, the vessel is thrown violently off course, its compass spinning wildly, its sophisticated systems temporarily overwhelmed, perhaps even damaged. For a time, all hands are on deck, not focused on the destination, not charting a course, but simply trying to keep it afloat, to prevent it from capsizing, to contain the immediate damage. They are in pure survival mode, prioritizing immediate stability and staying above water over any long-term navigation or strategic planning. They are reacting, not leading. But eventually, once the immediate threat subsides, once the initial shock begins to recede, however slowly, the captain must regain his bearings, recalibrate the instruments, assess the full extent of the damage, and most crucially, set a new course. He cannot remain adrift forever, simply reacting to the whims of the waves, allowing external circumstances to dictate his fate. You, too, are that captain. Your inner compass may be reeling, your sense of direction lost in the thick, suffocating fog of despair that trauma often casts over everything, making familiar landmarks disappear and the path forward seem utterly invisible. This is where the profound, courageous work begins, not with a sudden, miraculous leap from despair to perfect joy, not with an instant transformation that erases all pain, but with the painstaking, deliberate, often agonizing act of finding true north again, of re-establishing your internal navigation system, one tiny, intentional degree at a time. It's a process that requires patience, self-compassion, and an unwavering commitment to your own well-being. It starts with the mindset, the quiet yet profound decision, made perhaps in the darkest hour of your solitude, that this will not be your end. This is not about some superficial declaration, it's a deep, internal commitment. This isn't about ignoring the very real, visceral pain that gnaws at you, the heavy weight in your chest, the constant ache in your heart. On the contrary, it's about acknowledging that pain, but then making a conscious, strategic shift in your gaze from the wreckage of what was lost, from the agonizing replays of the past, to the expansive horizon of what can still be built, from the agony of the past to the exhilarating, albeit intimidating, possibility of a different, more meaningful, more authentic future. It's about deciding that your story is not over, but simply entering a new, challenging, yet potentially transformative chapter. Napoleon Hill, whose timeless insights into the philosophy of success transformed the lives of millions, understood this fundamental principle at his core. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This isn't just about superficial positive thinking, about repeating empty affirmations that feel hollow while your heart aches and your spirit doubts. This is about the deep-seated conviction, often forged in the fires of adversity, that even in the aftermath of devastation, the unparalleled power of creation still resides within you, dormant perhaps, obscured by the debris of the past, but undeniably potent and waiting to be tapped. It's about the raw, visceral understanding that your thoughts are not mere, ephemeral whispers, transient and powerless. They are, in fact, fundamental architects of your reality, shaping your perception, your emotions, and ultimately, your actions. Your inner world profoundly shapes your outer world. If you allow your mind to dwell perpetually on the broken pieces, to replay the traumatic event endlessly, to ruminate on what went wrong and what cannot be undone, you will remain trapped in the debris, forever bound by the past, a prisoner of your own internal narrative. But if you begin, however tentatively, however weakly at first, to envision a different future, a path forward, even a glimmer of light on the distant horizon, then the first, crucial, and most powerful seed of recovery has been planted, and the healing journey has truly, irrevocably begun. This isn't about magical thinking that bypasses the difficult realities of healing. It's about conscious direction, about harnessing the incredible, often underestimated, power of your own mental landscape to rebuild, to recreate, to redefine. Think of Thomas Edison, relentlessly pursuing the invention of the practical incandescent light bulb. He faced thousands of failed attempts, literally thousands of experiments that did not yield the desired result, leading to immense frustration, financial strain,
and skepticism from others.
Yet, he famously stated, with remarkable perspective, "I have not failed. I've just found 10 zone ways that won't work." His mindset wasn't one of defeat, despair,
Or self-pity at each setback.
but one of relentless inquiry, of continuous learning, and of unwavering belief in the eventual triumph of his grand vision. He viewed each failure not as an end, but as a crucial piece of information, a valuable data point, bringing him incrementally closer to the one solution that would work. That same profound resilience, that same unyielding mental fortitude, that same capacity to learn and adapt is undeniably within you. It's not an external force you need to acquire. It's an intrinsic capacity, a dormant power waiting to be awakened, not by the complete absence of pain, which is an unrealistic expectation, but by the conscious, deliberate choice to wield your mind as the most powerful tool for reconstruction, transformation, and ultimately, for genuine, lasting freedom. It is the fundamental shift from being a victim of circumstance to becoming the architect of your destiny. This brings us to the bedrock of all lasting transformation, the very foundation upon which a new and resilient self is built, the unwavering internal conviction that fuels all outward movement, belief,
Not a superficial.
fleeting optimism that crumbles at the first sign of difficulty or the next wave of emotional pain, but a deep, resonant, almost cellular conviction in your inherent capacity to heal, to adapt, to overcome, and ultimately, to not just survive, but to profoundly thrive.
When trauma strikes,
It doesn't just wound the heart and shatter the immediate reality. It often shatters our fundamental beliefs about ourselves, about the reliability of others, and about the fundamental fairness, safety, and predictability of the world. We might begin to believe, subtly or overtly, consciously or unconsciously, that we are unworthy of happiness, undeserving of love, permanently flawed, irrevocably broken, or simply destined for misfortune, forever marked and defined by what happened to us. These are insidious lies, whispered by the very pain that seeks to consume you, designed to keep you small, stagnant, and perpetually stuck in the past, unable to move forward. They are the echoes of the trauma itself, trying to perpetuate its power, to make you a prisoner in your own mind. But these beliefs are not truths. They are merely stories, narratives your mind has constructed in response to overwhelming circumstances, interpretations of events, not immutable facts. And if you can construct a narrative, however deeply ingrained, you can absolutely, undeniably reconstruct it. You have the power to rewrite your own story. Think of Henry Ford, a man whose vision was far ahead of his time, and who faced immense skepticism from his peers, persistent financial difficulties, and countless manufacturing challenges in his relentless pursuit of building an affordable automobile for the masses. Yet, he held an unwavering, almost audacious, belief in the viability of the automobile for the common person, not just a luxury for the wealthy elites. He wasn't just building cars, he was building a new way of life, a new economy, a new sense of freedom, all driven by an unshakable conviction that this technology could revolutionize society. His belief was so potent, so deeply ingrained, so utterly pervasive in his being, that it eventually reshaped an entire industry and fundamentally altered the landscape of modern life, proving the power of conviction against all odds, your belief in yourself, in your own profound, innate potential for renewal, for growth, for a life of meaning and purpose, even after immense suffering, is far more powerful than any external circumstance, no matter how daunting or devastating the immediate reality may seem. It's the internal combustion engine that truly drives your recovery, the very spark that ignites your journey forward, providing the sustained energy needed for the long road ahead. This belief isn't something you magically find lying on the ground after a traumatic event, a convenient gift presented to you. It's something you cultivate painstakingly, deliberately, day by day, moment by moment, through conscious effort and choice. It's nurtured by small victories, by moments of unexpected resilience, by the quiet acknowledgement, however difficult it may be, that you are still here, still breathing, still capable of choosing a different path, even when every fibre of your being wants to give up and surrender to the weight of the past. It's built by recalling every past challenge you've overcome, every storm you've weathered, every moment you thought you couldn't possibly go on, but you did. That internal library of resilience, of past triumphs against adversity, of moments where you tapped into a strength you didn't know you possessed, is vast and rich, waiting for you to access its wisdom, to draw strength from its undeniable lessons. Every time you faced a difficult situation and found a way through it, you deposited a valuable lesson, a tangible proof of your capability, into that precious library. Walt Disney, before creating the magical empire and iconic characters we know today, faced numerous bankruptcies, relentless rejections from studios and investors, and devastating personal setbacks.
Yet,
He held an almost childlike, yet fiercely determined, faith in the power of imagination, in the wonder of storytelling,
and in the fundamental human need for joy.
the wonder, and escapism. His belief wasn't just in his animated characters or the physical structures of his theme parks. It was in the profound, transformative power of dreams themselves, in the capacity of narrative to transport and inspire. That unwavering belief allowed him to overcome monumental obstacles, to persist through immense financial and creative pressures, and ultimately to build an empire that transcended mere entertainment, touching the hearts and minds of generations across the globe, leaving an enduring legacy of hope and imagination. Your belief in your own capacity for joy, for peace, for purpose, for meaningful connection, for a life that is truly your own, even after immense suffering, is the most powerful force you possess. It's the internal compass that will guide you when the external world offers no clear direction, when the familiar landmarks have vanished, when the path ahead seems shrouded in darkness. It's the quiet resolve that whispers, I can and I will. Even when the roaring chorus of doubt, fear, and the echoes of past pain try desperately to drown it out, this belief is not a luxury, a fleeting emotional state. It is a profound necessity, the very oxygen for your healing, and for the courageous journey into your future. It is the unshakable inner knowing that despite everything, you are worthy of a life rebuilt, a life of profound meaning and peace. With belief as your unshakable foundation, the next crucial step in your transformative journey is cultivating clarity. Trauma often leaves us in a thick, impenetrable fog, adrift in a sea of confusion and emotional turbulence. The world, which once made a degree of sense, now seems disoriented, fragmented,
and utterly alien.
Familiar routines feel foreign, former passions seem distant, and the very concept of a future can feel abstract and out of reach. You might feel a profound sense of aimlessness, a crippling loss of purpose that exacerbates the pain and makes every step feel like walking through thick treacle, demanding immense effort for little perceived progress. The familiar anchors of identity and meaning have been violently ripped away, leaving us feeling utterly untethered, floating aimlessly in an emotional void. The sheer overwhelm can make it impossible to see beyond the immediate moment of distress. But clarity isn't about having all the answers at once, or about possessing a perfectly clear, detailed roadmap for the rest of your life. That's an unrealistic, often paralyzing expectation, especially when you're still navigating the complex emotional and practical aftermath of a profound, life-altering event. Instead, clarity is about the gradual, gentle unveiling of your direction, the slow, deliberate sharpening of your inner vision, one small revelation at a time, one intentional focus at a time. It's like a sunrise after a long, dark night. The light doesn't instantly flood the world, but gradually expands, revealing contours and forms little by little, until the full landscape is illuminated. Imagine an artist, staring at a vast, daunting blank canvas after a period of intense creative block. Perhaps after a personal crisis that stifled their inspiration and left them feeling creatively barren. The path forward isn't immediately obvious. The muse feels absent. The idea is non-existent. But with each deliberate brushstroke, each thoughtful decision about colour and form, each tentative line drawn, however imperfect, the image begins to slowly, gradually emerge, gaining definition and purpose, revealing itself layer by layer, building from abstract potential to concrete form. The artist doesn't demand immediate perfection. They trust the process of emergence. Your life, after a major setback or a traumatic experience, is that expansive canvas. And the process of cultivating clarity begins not with grand pronouncements or sweeping, intimidating life plans, but with simple, honest, deeply introspective questions. What truly matters to you now, in this precise moment? Given all that has happened, given the profound shifts you've experienced, what values? Even in the midst of chaos and emotional turmoil, still hold steadfast as unwavering guiding principles for your life?
What small,
tangible step can you take today, right now, in this very hour, that aligns with those core values, however insignificant or trivial it might seem to the outside world? It might be as simple as choosing kindness, seeking quiet, or prioritizing genuine connection.
This isn't about finding a brand new you overnight.
Or about erasing the person you were before the trauma. On the contrary, it's about reconnecting with the essential you that has always existed, perhaps buried beneath layers of pain, grief, societal expectations, or external pressures. It's about stripping away the non-essentials, the inauthentic, the things that no longer serve you, to reveal the core of who you are and what truly matters to your spirit. It's about rediscovering your authentic self, perhaps with new insights forged from fire. Consider Abraham Lincoln during the unfathomable chaos and profound division of the American Civil War. He faced immense pressure, agonizing moral and strategic decisions,
And a deeply fractured,
warring nation. His personal life was also rife with sorrow and loss. Yet, throughout it all, he held an unshakable clarity of purpose to preserve the Union and, eventually, to end slavery, understanding that these were inseparable moral imperatives. This profound clarity, forged in the crucible of immense pressure, immense suffering, and immense responsibility, allowed him to navigate an incredibly complex, emotionally charged, and bloody landscape with unwavering resolve. Often against fierce opposition and widespread criticism, he didn't have all the answers to every military or political dilemma that arose daily, but his core objective remained crystal clear, serving as the ultimate guide for every difficult decision, every strategic move, every act of leadership, no matter how unpopular or controversial, for you. Cultivating clarity might mean recognizing that your deepest need right now is for profound inner peace, or for genuine, authentic connection with others, or simply for a basic sense of stability and safety in your immediate environment.
it might mean identifying the relationships that truly nourish your spirit and contribute to your well-being.
And those that subtly or overtly drain your energy, requiring you to set healthy boundaries. It's about cutting through the pervasive noise, both external distractions and internal self-talk, to hear the authentic, quiet whispers of your own soul, to understand what your deepest self truly needs to heal, to breathe, and to flourish. It's about understanding that even when everything else feels uncertain, even when the future seems completely obscured by the fog of fear and grief, you can still choose your immediate direction, however small and tentative that first step might be. This isn't about miraculously eliminating the fog of trauma, it's about learning to navigate through it, armed with a deeper understanding of your own internal compass, your core values, and your true north, allowing those internal guides to light your way forward, one step at a time. This process, though gradual, is immensely empowering. From clarity, precisely defined and deeply understood, emerges vision. While clarity defines your current truth and immediate direction, what you need to do now, what values are guiding your present vision casts its gaze further into the realm of what is possible, what you can create, what your life can become, even beyond your current pain. It's the imaginative leap, the courageous act of dreaming a future that feels bigger than your present pain, more expansive than your past suffering, more vibrant than the shadows that linger. When trauma strikes, it often narrows our perspective dramatically, trapping us in the confines of what was lost, what went wrong, what cannot be undone, and the immediate, overwhelming pain. We can become so focused on the wound itself, on the debris of the past, that we forget the vastness of the world beyond it, the endless possibilities that still exist. But vision pulls you forward, beyond the immediate wreckage, beyond the lingering shadow of the past, into the vibrant, limitless realm of potential, of what can be rather than what has been. Imagine Andrew Carnegie, the industrial titan who built a steel empire that utterly transformed America and, indeed, the modern world. He didn't just see raw iron ore and coal as inert materials, he envisioned the very infrastructure of a burgeoning nation, the endless possibilities that steel could unlock, towering skyscrapers that scraped the clouds, mighty bridges spanning vast rivers and canyons, the intricate web of railroads connecting continents, the very backbone of modern industry and transportation. His vision wasn't just about accumulating personal wealth or simply building factories. It was about connecting communities, facilitating unprecedented progress, and fundamentally shaping the future of an entire industrial society. His gaze was always fixed on what could be built, on the expansive potential of his raw materials. He saw not just steel, but the civilization it would help forge. Your vision doesn't have to be on a grand, world-changing scale, nor does it need to be a fully formed, detailed plan at this stage. It can be intensely personal, intimately tailored to your unique journey and your deepest aspirations. a vision of a life lived with profound inner peace and equanimity, a future where you feel truly secure, authentic, and whole.
A journey where you actively and joyfully pursue your deepest passions and curiosities,
allowing them to lead you. It's about allowing yourself the courage to imagine, even if tentatively and with a trembling heart, a life where the trauma does not define your entire existence, but rather becomes a significant chapter, yet a powerful, albeit painful, teacher in a much larger, more fulfilling, and beautifully unfolding story of your own resilience and growth. It's about seeing beyond the broken pieces to the beautiful, unique mosaic you can create from them. Pieces that, though once shattered, now contribute to a richer, more profound whole. This vision is not a denial of the past, it is a powerful, active affirmation of the future. It's not about erasing the pain, which is impossible and unhealthy. It's about painting a new, vibrant landscape around it, one filled with growth, joy, meaning, and purpose. It's about consciously choosing to move towards light, even when you're still walking through shadows. Think of it as a powerful lighthouse on a distant, fog-shrouded shore, its radiant beam cutting through the deepest gloom and swirling mists. Even on the darkest, stormiest nights, when the waves crash violently around you and disorientation threatens to consume you, its steady, unwavering light offers a point of reference, a guiding beacon, a tangible destination to navigate towards. That lighthouse is your vision, your desired future, your highest self. It might feel distant, perhaps even impossible or naive at times, especially when the old wounds ache and the weight of the past presses down upon you. But the very act of identifying it, of allowing yourself the profound courage to dream it, begins to pull you forward, subtly but powerfully, creating an energetic pull towards its realization. It gives immediate purpose to your immediate actions, knowing that each small step, each moment of clarity, each act of self-care, each choice to engage is moving you incrementally closer to that imagined future. It's the mental blueprint for your own recreation, a powerful antidote to the corrosive, paralyzing effects of despair and aimlessness. It provides direction, ignites hope, and transforms the abstract idea of healing into a tangible, achievable reality. Without vision, you are merely drifting, reacting to external currents. With it, you are actively charting a course, no matter how choppy the waters may be. With intention and purpose, this vision becomes your North Star, guiding you through the darkness until you reach the shore of your renewed self. And what is vision? However magnificent and inspiring, without purpose, vision gives you the destination, the breathtaking blueprint for what you want to build and who you want to become. But purpose provides the essential, deep-seated fuel, the profoundly personal meaning that ignites your spirit, sustains your effort, and propels you through the inevitable obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt that are inherent in any profound journey of healing and transformation. When you've experienced profound loss or trauma, the very fabric of your purpose can feel shredded, torn away from you, leaving you feeling adrift and utterly meaningless. The things that once gave your life direction and significance, your career, your relationships, your hobbies, your identity, your contribution to the world might suddenly seem trivial, irrelevant, impossible to reclaim, or even utterly nonsensical in the face of what you've endured. This can lead to a sense of profound existential emptiness, a feeling of being adrift without an anchor, a ghost in your own life. But purpose isn't solely tied to external achievements, societal roles, or grand, publicly recognized endeavors. It's a deeply internal resonance, a profound sense of contribution, meaning, and belonging that transcends external circumstances and endures even when everything else has shifted, crumbled, or been taken from you. It's about aligning your deepest values with your actions, finding congruence between who you are and what you do. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, famously wrote about the human search for meaning, even in the most horrific and dehumanizing conditions imaginable. In the very crucible of human suffering, he understood, from direct, excruciating experience, that when we can find a why to live a reason, a purpose, a deeper meaning that transcends our suffering, we can endure almost any how. His insight stemmed from observing that those who found a sense of purpose, even in the concentration camps, whether it was to bear witness, to protect another, or to simply survive to tell their story, were more likely to survive, not just physically, but spiritually, their inner light unextinguished. Your purpose, in the aftermath of trauma, might not be immediately apparent, nor does it need to be grandiose, world-changing, or publicly celebrated. It might be as simple, yet profoundly impactful, as finding a way to transform your pain into compassion for others who are suffering, to use your lived experience as a bridge to connection, It might be to build something resilient and beautiful from the ashes of what was lost, to create art that expresses your unique journey, to dedicate yourself to a cause that speaks to your heart, or to simply live a life that honours the hard-won lessons you've learned, lessons about the preciousness of life, the strength of the human spirit, and the importance of genuine connection. It's about recognising that your experiences, however painful and unwanted, have uniquely equipped you, perhaps more than anyone else, to understand something profound about the human condition, about resilience, about vulnerability, and about the capacity for healing. This profound understanding can then be channeled into a contribution, no matter how small, that extends beyond your own suffering and connects you to something larger than yourself, to the collective human story. Consider the countless individuals throughout history who, after surviving personal tragedies, the loss of a child, a debilitating illness, a catastrophic accident, systemic injustice, dedicate their lives to helping others navigate similar challenges, to advocating for change, or to preventing others from enduring what they have. Their purpose isn't found despite their trauma, but often precisely because of it. Their pain becomes a wellspring of profound empathy, their lived experience a guiding light for others who are lost in the same darkness, feeling alone and overwhelmed.
Their brokenness transforms into a powerful instrument of healing for others.
A testament to the transformative power of compassion. Your purpose isn't about escaping your past or pretending it didn't happen. That's an impossible and ultimately unhealthy pursuit. Instead, it's about integrating it, understanding its lessons, transforming its raw energy, and channeling it into a force for good, for growth, for connection, and for deeper, more authentic meaning in your life. It's about discovering that even in your brokenness, even with your wounds, you possess a unique strength, a distinct voice, a profound capacity to impact the world around you, even if it's just the small, intimate world of your immediate relationships, your family, or your community. This deep internal drive, this unshakable sense of why you are moving forward, why you are healing, why you are choosing life, is the unshakable anchor that holds you steady when the tempestuous winds of doubt, despair,
and external challenges threaten to capsize you.
It provides the meaning that makes the struggle worthwhile, making each difficult step forward a powerful reaffirmation of your will to live, to contribute, and to profoundly thrive, not just survive.
It is the very essence of what makes your life uniquely yours and deeply significant.
Purpose, however noble and deeply felt, remains an abstract concept without discipline. This is where the rubber truly meets the road, where the beautiful blueprint of your vision and the profound, motivating drive of your purpose begin to take tangible, actionable form in the real world. When you've been through trauma, consistent effort, the very bedrock of sustained progress, can feel like an insurmountable mountain, an impossible ask.
Your emotional and physical energy reserves are profoundly depleted.
Your cognitive function might feel impaired, and motivation can be elusive, flickering like a dying candle in a strong wind, threatening to extinguish entirely. The sheer effort of simply existing, of navigating the basic demands of daily life, can feel overwhelming, let alone actively engaging in the demanding, often painful, work of healing and rebuilding. The inclination to retreat, to do nothing, to succumb to inertia, is powerful. But discipline isn't about heroic, unsustainable bursts of willpower that leave you utterly exhausted and defeated, ultimately leading to burnout and a sense of failure. It's about the consistent application of small, manageable actions, taken deliberately, incrementally, day after day, week after week, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. It's the quiet, unwavering commitment to showing up for yourself, for your healing, for your future, even when no one else is watching. Even when there's no immediate external reward or recognition, no applause or validation. It's the steadfast promise you make to yourself, and the profound commitment to keep that promise. Because you recognize your own inherent worth and the importance of your own journey. Think of a marathon runner, not just training for the big, celebrated race, but consistently waking up early, lacing up their shoes, and putting one foot in front of the other. Through driving rain or sweltering heat, through moments of profound fatigue and muscle soreness, through mental doubts and physical discomfort, their discipline isn't fueled by fleeting motivation, which comes and goes with the weather. It's fueled by the long-term vision of crossing that finish line, of achieving a goal that feels deeply meaningful to them, a testament to their own endurance. They understand that the accumulation of these seemingly small, consistent efforts is what ultimately leads to monumental achievement, to transformations that once seemed impossible. For someone recovering from trauma, discipline might mean consistently engaging in therapeutic practices, even when they're difficult, emotionally draining, or feel like they're stirring up old, painful wounds. It might mean committing to a regular sleep schedule, even when your mind races with anxieties at night. Understanding that rest is crucial for repair. It could involve eating nourishing food that genuinely supports your physical and mental well-being, even when all you crave is comfort food that offers temporary solace, but no lasting sustenance. It might mean carving out dedicated time for meditation, mindfulness practices, journaling, or simply engaging in activities that bring you a small, quiet measure of peace and help regulate your dysregulated nervous system. It's about establishing routines and habits that consistently serve your well-being, that rebuild your internal sense of order and safety, even when the inner critic whispers for you to just give up, to stay in bed, to succumb to the overwhelming weight of your pain and exhaustion. It's about understanding that every single act of self-care, however small or seemingly insignificant, every deliberate moment of choosing growth over stagnation, every instance of choosing conscious participation over passive resignation, is an act of profound self-love and a powerful, long-term investment in your future self. This is not about harsh self-criticism, about driving yourself relentlessly into the ground, or about rigid, unforgiving adherence to an impossible ideal of perfection. On the contrary, it's about gentle, persistent effort, infused with deep self-compassion and understanding for the immense challenges you've faced. It's about understanding that monumental shifts in your life, in your internal landscape, in your very sense of self, are often the direct result of countless tiny, consistent steps taken with intention and unwavering commitment. It's about showing up, not perfectly, not flawlessly, not without struggle, but consistently for the person you are actively, bravely becoming. This quiet, unwavering dedication, this daily commitment to your own healing and growth, is the crucible in which true resilience is forged, where the seemingly impossible slowly but surely becomes possible, and where the wounds of the past are gradually, patiently transformed into sources of enduring strength, wisdom, and profound inner peace. It is the tangible manifestation of your belief and purpose. And then there is action, all the mindset shifts, the belief cultivation, the clarity, the vision, purpose, and discipline ultimately lead to this, the tangible, undeniable step forward, the engagement with the world, the concrete manifestation of your internal shifts. It's not enough to simply think about recovery, to plan for healing, to wish for a better future, or to dream of a life free from pain. You must actively act it into being. You must engage with the world, however tentatively, however imperfectly, however much courage it demands.
When you've been through a deeply unsettling or traumatic experience,
The natural, deeply ingrained, and completely understandable impulse might be to retreat, to withdraw from the world, to construct emotional walls and barriers around yourself, to protect yourself from any further pain, further disappointment, or further loss. This is a primordial survival mechanism, a way to create a perceived sense of safety in a world that suddenly feels incredibly dangerous, unpredictable, and hostile. You're trying to prevent more damage, to stop the bleeding. But while this instinct is understandable and serves a short-term protective function, inaction, in the long run, becomes its own kind of prison. It locks you into the past, into the confines of your pain, into a static state of emotional and spiritual stagnation. It prevents you from discovering new possibilities, new strengths, new joys, and new dimensions of yourself that can only be revealed through engagement. Action, even imperfect action, is liberation. It's the key that unlocks the prison door, allowing you to step into the light. It's the first ripple in the pond that expands into wider and wider circles of change, creating momentum and transforming your environment. Taking action can be terrifying, especially when you feel vulnerable, exposed, raw, and fundamentally unsafe. It means stepping into the unknown, risking further discomfort, risking further disappointment, or even the possibility of re-triggering old, painful wounds. The fear of what might happen, of being hurt again, can be profoundly paralyzing, rooting you to the spot. But the alternative, remaining in the inertia of the past, allowing the trauma to dictate your entire future, is far more detrimental to your long-term well-being and your ultimate capacity for joy and fulfillment. Consider the countless entrepreneurs, innovators, and leaders throughout history who, despite massive risks, potential failures, overwhelming odds, and fierce opposition, took the decisive leap of faith and launched their ventures, pursued their dreams, or championed their causes. They didn't wait for perfect conditions, for guaranteed success, for the absence of fear, or for every obstacle to disappear. They acted, often in the face of profound uncertainty, learning and adapting with each step, iterating and refining their approach along the way, understanding that progress comes from doing, not just from planning or wishing. They embrace the messy, unpredictable nature of creation. For you, action might mean taking that difficult but necessary first step to reach out to a therapist or counselor, to seek professional guidance for navigating your healing journey. It might mean attending a support group, even if the idea fills you with anxiety and social discomfort, to connect with others who understand your experience on a profound level and can offer empathy.
It could involve enrolling in a class,
Trying a new hobby, pursuing a new skill, or simply re-engaging with a friend or family member you've distanced yourself from due to your pain. It could be as simple, yet profoundly impactful, as making your bed each morning, preparing a nourishing meal, stepping outside for a short walk, or committing to a few minutes of mindful breathing, small victories that create momentum, build a sense of agency, and demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of initiating change. The key is not the magnitude of the action, but the powerful, conscious act of doing, of initiating movement, of breaking the cycle of inaction. Each step, no matter how small or hesitant, sends a powerful, undeniable message to your subconscious and to the universe. I am moving forward. I am capable. I'm actively rebuilding my life. I'm choosing agency over passivity. I am reclaiming my power.
It's about breaking the paralysis of fear and replacing it with a dynamic momentum of progress.
And remember, failure in action is not a reason to stop. It's merely valuable information, a data point that informs your next, more refined attempt. It's a sign that you are trying, learning, and growing. As countless innovators and resilient individuals have shown, every failure is a lesson learned, a pathway illuminated, bringing you closer to true understanding and eventual success. This is not about rushing the process of healing. It's about engaging with it actively, participating in your own recreation, and in reclaiming your inherent power to shape your future, one courageous step at a time. This is how you take back control, not from the past, but for the future, as you embrace action. And perhaps even before you feel fully ready for it, cultivate gratitude. This might seem profoundly counterintuitive, even impossible.
when you're navigating the raw,
exposed aftermath of trauma. When your heart feels heavy, your body aches, and your world seems to have shattered into irreparable fragments. How can one possibly be grateful when so much has been lost? When pain is a constant, unwelcome companion, gnawing at the edges of your awareness. The very suggestion might feel like a cruel joke, an invalidation of your suffering. But gratitude, in this context, is not about denying your pain, about forcing a superficial cheerfulness that feels inauthentic and dismissive of your profound suffering. It's not about pretending everything is fine when it clearly isn't, or minimizing the impact of what you've endured. Instead, it's about a subtle, yet profoundly powerful, shift in perspective, a conscious, deliberate effort to acknowledge the glimmers of light, however faint, however fleeting, however obscured by the shadows, that still exist in your life, even in the darkest corners. It's about finding small, unexpected moments of appreciation, of peace, of beauty,
of connection,
even amidst the profound darkness and overwhelming grief. It's about consciously training your mind to seek out evidence of goodness, however small.
when your default setting might be to perceive only absence and lack.
Think of individuals who, despite unimaginable hardship and suffering, those who survived concentration camps, or endured severe, life-altering illnesses, or lived through catastrophic natural disasters, or faced relentless persecution. Many, like Viktor Frankl, often spoke not of gratitude for their suffering itself, which would be perverse, but of finding profound meaning and even a strange, powerful kind of gratitude for the very act of survival, for the unexpected kindness of a stranger, for the exquisite beauty of a single sunrise witnessed from a place of deprivation, or for the simple, defiant resilience of the human spirit in the face of annihilation. Their gratitude wasn't for the trauma they endured, but for the life that still remained, for the hard-won lessons learned, for the profound strength and empathy discovered within themselves and others in the most dire circumstances. It was an affirmation of life, even in the shadow of death. For you, cultivating gratitude might manifest as appreciating the simple, fundamental act of breathing, of your body continuing to function, of the life force that still courses through your veins.
It might be the quiet comfort of a familiar blanket,
The soothing warmth of a cup of coffee or tea in your hands on a cold morning, the gentle murmur of rain outside your window, or the unwavering support of a loved one who stands by you, offering a steady presence when you feel like crumbling. It's about intentionally seeking out the small pockets of peace, beauty, and connection that can still be found, even when the larger world feels broken and overwhelming. It's about noticing the tiny, everyday miracles that persist, despite the chaos. The brief moments of respite that remind you that not all is lost. This practice of gratitude doesn't magically erase the pain, nor does it make the past any less traumatic or the grief any less real. But what it does do is dilute the overwhelming, suffocating power of the pain. It prevents the pervasive darkness from completely engulfing your vision, from consuming your entire being, from dictating your every thought and emotion. It gently reminds you that even in devastation, even in the raw aftermath of loss, there are still elements of grace, still reasons to continue, still fundamental blessings, however small, that endure and persist. It's a quiet, yet profoundly powerful rebellion against despair, a defiant affirmation that even when broken, life still holds inherent value, meaning, and unexpected blessings waiting to be recognized and cherished.
It's the necessary counterpoint to the relentless focus on what's missing,
on what was lost, allowing you to gradually, gently shift your awareness towards what remains and crucially, towards what can still grow and flourish from the seeds of resilience you are planting. It is the conscious choice to acknowledge that even in the bleakest landscapes, there are wildflowers pushing through the cracks. In the dynamic and often unpredictable journey of healing, adaptability is absolutely paramount. Life, even without the added burden of trauma, is a constant flux of change, a continuous series of shifts, adjustments, and unforeseen circumstances. We are always navigating currents, large and small. When you've been knocked off course by a traumatic event, when the very foundations of your life have been disrupted, the natural, deeply ingrained, and completely understandable inclination might be to cling desperately to what was, to yearn for the familiar patterns, the predictable routines, the sense of identity and safety that no longer exist in the same way.
There's a strong human desire for stability and continuity,
and when that is shattered, it's natural to try to recreate it exactly as it was, to force the past back into existence. However impossible that may be, this clinging, however often prolonged suffering, but true recovery, true resilience, and true growth lie not in clinging to the past or resisting the inevitable flow of change. Instead, it lies in your profound capacity to bend without breaking, to pivot with grace, to adjust your sails when the winds inevitably shift, when new challenges arise, or when the old, familiar paths become impassable. Think of a nimble ship in a raging storm, not rigidly resisting the colossal waves, which would lead to its destruction, but instead riding them, moving with their immense force, using their energy to propel itself forward,
finding a way to move with the current, not desperately,
futilely against it. It doesn't fight the overwhelming power of the ocean, it finds a way to cooperate with it, to navigate its immense, unpredictable force with skill and ingenuity, finding new angles and new momentum.
This isn't about giving up on your deepest goals or compromising your core values,
which are the anchors of your being and the immutable guiding stars of your purpose. Rather, it's about recognizing that the path to achieving them might look radically different than you initially imagined.
The map has changed, and you must learn to navigate a new terrain.
It's about being open to new strategies, new approaches, new ways of engaging with the world, and new, often deeper, understandings of yourself and the profound lessons life is offering you through adversity.
It's about letting go of rigid expectations for how things should be and embracing the reality of how they are.
Finding creative solutions and new possibilities within that newly defined reality. It's about innovation born of necessity. Thomas Edison, once again, was a master of adaptability, not just persistence in a narrow sense. When one experiment failed,
when a particular material didn't work as intended for his inventions,
when a design proved inefficient, he didn't abandon his overarching goal, he simply adapted his approach, learned from the misstep, and tried a new angle, a new material, a new design, a new method. His persistence was not a rigid, blind adherence to one single method, regardless of its efficacy, but a flexible, intelligent pursuit of a singular aim through myriad evolving pathways. He adapted his methods until he found one that worked, understanding that true mastery lies in continuous learning and adjustment, not stubbornness. For you, cultivating adaptability might mean letting go of outdated expectations for yourself or your life that no longer serve your highest good or are simply no longer possible given your changed circumstances and your new understanding of yourself. It might mean finding new ways to connect with your purpose when old avenues are closed off, or exploring entirely new, unexpected routes to finding meaning and contribution. It could mean adjusting your definition of success, or discovering entirely new avenues to well-being and fulfillment that you never considered before, pathways that only revealed themselves after the old ones collapsed. It's about moving beyond rigid thinking, beyond the "it has to be this way" or "not at all" mentality, and embracing a more fluid, responsive, and creative approach to life's challenges. It's about finding opportunity in the unexpected shifts. This isn't about passively accepting whatever comes your way, becoming a victim of circumstance. It's about actively engaging with change, about finding creative solutions to new challenges, and about developing a profound sense of inner flexibility and resourcefulness. It's about understanding that sometimes the most direct path to healing, growth, and flourishing is not a straight line, but a winding river, constantly adapting its course to the contours of the land, gracefully navigating around obstacles rather than crashing headlong into them. This profound flexibility is a magnificent strength, allowing you to move through life with greater ease, less internal resistance, and a more profound sense of inner peace, even when the external world remains chaotic and unpredictable. It allows you to write a new chapter, even when the old one ended abruptly, and as you adapt. As you move through each challenge with a growing sense of self-awareness and deliberate choice, you will inevitably cultivate deeper resilience. This isn't just about bouncing back to your original state, which is often an impossible and even undesirable goal after profound trauma. You are fundamentally changed, and seeking to return to a past self can be a source of continued frustration. Instead, it's about bouncing forward. It's about the profound, unshakable inner strength forged in the crucible of adversity. A strength that makes you not just capable of enduring future storms, but of truly thriving despite them, integrating the lessons and growing exponentially wiser and stronger from the experience. It's about evolving, becoming more capable, more compassionate, more deeply authentic. Resilience is not the absence of pain, struggle, or vulnerability. Indeed, it is often born directly from these experiences. It's the profound capacity to move through it, to feel the difficult emotions, to learn from the experience, and to emerge not unscathed, not untouched by the fire, but with a deeper understanding of your own indomitable spirit,
Your incredible capacity for endurance,
and your innate, almost miraculous, ability to heal and grow. It's the irrefutable evidence that you can bend without breaking, that you can be deeply wounded and still find the inner resources to mend, to grow,
and to live a meaningful,
purposeful life. It's the quiet triumph of the human spirit over the forces that seek to diminish it. Consider historical figures like Abraham Lincoln, whose life was marked by immense personal tragedies, the early death of his mother, the loss of 3 of his 4 beloved sons, profound financial setbacks, and a string of romantic heartbreaks that left deep emotional scars. Beyond his personal sorrows, he faced overwhelming political opposition, public scorn, relentless criticism, and the crushing, agonizing burden of leading a nation through its darkest, bloodiest hour. A nation tearing itself apart, yet he continued to lead, to inspire, to strategize, and to guide, driven by an unshakable moral compass and an unwavering belief in the Union. His resilience wasn't just about surviving these immense hardships, it was about transforming his own suffering and the nation's struggle into a profound moral force that ultimately led to the preservation of the Union and the abolition of slavery. His brokenness, his grief, his weariness fueled his leadership, and his enduring spirit changed the course of history, leaving a legacy of profound strength and compassion. For you, resilience is built brick by painstaking brick, forged through every conscious choice to move forward. However small, however difficult, it's developed through every small act of self-care you commit to, every moment of gratitude you cultivate, every instance of adaptability you practice when the path ahead changes unexpectedly. It's the quiet triumph of showing up, day after day, even when your heart aches, even when the fatigue is overwhelming, even when you feel utterly alone and the burden seems too heavy to bear. It's the deep knowing, derived from direct, lived experience, that you have faced the unimaginable and emerged, not broken beyond repair, not permanently shattered, but profoundly capable of rebuilding, stronger, wiser, and more profound than you were before. Your wounds, though painful, become sources of unique insight, profound empathy, and an undeniable strength that can serve not only yourself, but also others. This resilience isn't a magical gift bestowed upon a lucky few, it's a developed muscle, strengthened through consistent use, through every single act of overcoming, no matter how minor. Each time you face a challenge, large or small, each time you feel the urge to give up, but choose to take one more step, each time you choose growth over stagnation, you are adding another layer of fortitude to your spirit, another layer of strength to your very being. You are proving to yourself, through undeniable, direct experience, that you are indeed capable of navigating the tumultuous waters of life, not just surviving, but truly living deeply, authentically, purposefully. This isn't about becoming invulnerable or impervious to pain. It's about becoming profoundly capable of living fully, deeply, and purposefully, even with the scars that serve as powerful, poignant reminders of your extraordinary journey and the immense, indomitable strength you possess within. Finally, throughout this entire journey, From the initial shock to the eventual flourishing, you are engaged in an ongoing, profound process of learning. The experience of trauma, while devastating, unwelcome, and intensely painful, is also, paradoxically, a profound, albeit unwanted, teacher. It offers insights into your own inherent strength, into the true nature of relationships and connection, into the fragility and immense beauty of life itself, and into the fundamental truths of existence that often remain hidden during times of ease and comfort. It strips away the superficial layers, the illusions, and the comfortable assumptions, and reveals the raw, authentic core of who you are and what truly matters. It accelerates your personal evolution in ways that comfort never could. True recovery, true transformation, is not about forgetting the past, about erasing the trauma, or about suppressing the invaluable lessons learnt, however painful they may be. Instead, it's about integrating them, allowing them to inform your future choices, to deepen your compassion for yourself and others, to expand your wisdom in ways that only profound lived experience can. It's about understanding that the wounds you carry, while not chosen, can become sources of unique empathy, profound insight, and a deeper understanding of the human condition that connects you more deeply to the collective human story, to the suffering and resilience of others. Your pain can become a bridge. Think of any great leader, inventor, artist, or philosopher throughout history. Their mastery wasn't born of innate perfection, nor was it handed to them effortlessly. It was forged through a relentless curiosity, an insatiable desire to understand, a profound willingness to experiment, to fail repeatedly, to learn from every mistake, every setback, every challenge, and to continuously refine their craft and understanding. They understood that every experience, positive or negative, held valuable information, a lesson waiting to be discovered, absorbed, and integrated into their evolving understanding of the world. They saw obstacles not as insurmountable barriers that brought their journey to an end, but as crucial opportunities for learning, for adaptation, and for profound growth. For you, learning means embracing a posture of profound curiosity towards your own healing journey. It means asking yourself, with genuine compassion and self-awareness, what triggers your pain, and why does it resonate so deeply? What truly brings you solace and a sense of peace, and how can you cultivate more of that?
What patterns of thought or behaviour are subtly or overtly holding you back,
keeping you stuck in the past, and what new ones might serve you better, more effectively, more authentically. As you move forward, it's about being a diligent, compassionate student of your own life, recognizing that even in your brokenness, even in your moments of struggle and uncertainty, you possess an incredible, innate capacity for growth, for profound understanding, and for ongoing self-discovery. This isn't about intellectualizing your pain, about analyzing it clinically until it loses its emotional impact and becomes merely a theoretical concept. On the contrary, it's about gaining a deeper, more compassionate, and ultimately more liberating understanding of yourself, of your internal landscape, and of the universal human experience of suffering, resilience, and transformation. It's about transforming suffering into wisdom, loss into empathy, and setbacks into powerful launchpads for profound personal evolution and spiritual growth. The raw material of your pain, however difficult to bear, can be alchemized into something truly magnificent and meaningful. You are not, never were, defined by what happened to you, no matter how devastating, how profound, or how unfair. You are defined, fundamentally and powerfully, by how you choose to respond, how you choose to learn from your experiences, how you choose to grow, and how you choose to engage with the world moving forward. You are defined by your capacity for healing, for rebuilding, for finding light in the darkest corners. And in that continuous, courageous, and deeply personal process of learning, of evolving, of becoming, you will discover, with every fibre of your being, with a certainty that resonates deep within your soul, that while you may have been deeply broken, you were, and always will be, undeniably, triumphantly, not defeated. You are a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a living, breathing example of transformation, a lighthouse for others lost in their own storms.